All right, we're gonna try this because I haven't really had storage, and sometimes my phone cuts out in the middle of the video. So we just, by the grace of God, hope this works. So today at church, and I'm still currently at church. I'm sitting in the parking lot. I gotta wait on my mom. But today I was supposed to work the cameras, but I was just super duper tired from this week, and like I've been working really hard this week, and I literally was like falling asleep behind the camera during the rehearsal. So this dude stepped up and did the cameras for me, and I was really happy about it because I've been wanting to just like sit in church, and I also wanted to catch an early service, the first service, because we always usually catch the second one, and I feel like more energy goes into the first service because it's fresh, it's in the morning, you know what I'm saying, it's the first fruits of the day. So I ended up, instead of going to the car and going to sleep and waiting for the 10:30 service, I just sat in the back and I just dozed off for like the little time of rehearsal that they had left. And then I woke up like right before we started praise and worship. Now, like I said, I've been working really hard this week, and my body hurts so bad to the point where I was just sitting for a second. But I did a double, and then I worked my business, and then I went and did another shift that same night. So I was like, if I can have energy for that, then I can have energy to stand up and praise the Lord. So I finally, sat there for a second, and I stood up. Now, it was hard for me to get out of bed this morning. That type of pain, like roll over, everything hurt, back hurt, arms hurt, everything hurt. Even sitting here, it hurts. But I was just standing there, and I just was enjoying the music and feeling it flow through me. And I was just like praying in my head, like what you do during praise and worship, like you just talk to God and everything. And when the pastor came up, the first thing he said was, what did he say? He said something about like, it don't matter how you walked in here, just be glad that you actually did it. And it just made me happy because I was like, that's exactly what, it made me start crying instantly. I always freaking cry when I come to church, every time. And it just made me start crying instantly because it was like, man, like I'm just using the last little bit of strength I have, and I'm just giving it to God right now because like I am exhausted. I've had such a long week, but I didn't want to give God half-ass effort. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need probably not to cuss because I'm in a church parking lot. But I didn't want to give him a half effort, especially with all the stuff that's been happening this week. So the message today was gratitude, and it was about giving thanks to God, because it's our Thanksgiving service. Thanksgiving is this week. It's about giving thanks to God for what he's brought you through and how he loves you and everything like that. And it made me cry some more because I'm just like, bro, a year ago today, I was not in church. I don't think I started going to church until like mid-December, in December. You know what I'm saying? Like I was still in my active addiction, like around this time last year. Like I was stopping, yes. I was slowing down, yes. But I was still in that, wrapped up in that situation and in those demons that I had. You know what I'm saying? And it just made me start crying because I'm like, bro, a year ago, I was not in this position. And it's so crazy to me because it's like a year later, like I'm a business owner and I'm sober. I don't even smoke weed anymore, y'all. Like I don't even smoke weed anymore. And if you know me, that's big. Like I don't smoke weed no more. Like I'm just focused on me and what I got going on. I'm a year celibate. Like it's just so many things that I didn't think that I could do, that God showed me that I could do this year. And the pastor was telling us like to be thankful, like whenever you forget, or like, when you have bad days and you kind of forget like how far you've come or how God has blessed you. And that's where I was at with it. I was just like, because sometimes I do that, like I'll get down and I'm like, man, I'm just not where I want to be. But then I got to think back to where I used to be. And it's like, yo, I'm so far past that. And that just brings me to this past week. Like, yes, I'm exhausted, but spiritually and mentally, I've had a high this week. Like, at my night job, 3 people. And it's crazy that it happened like this because when I first started this job, like orientation, God sent me to 3 people to talk to in my orientation class. And I did not know any of them from a can of paint, and I just told them exactly what he told me. Like, God talks to me in a real specific, weird way. It's crazy. And so this week, it happened 3 days in a row. And the first day was this one lady who just started working there, and we're getting cool, you know what I'm saying? But we both were just talking about like our struggles in life, and she was talking about how she feels like she's hitting a wall and she's looking for something more, like, and we started talking about God, and she's like asking me questions about like my spiritual journey, and I was telling her like, because I guess we both have had like past addiction problems, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're both thankfully off of those things, but we both have had past addiction problems. And I was telling her like, honestly, I wouldn't have been able to get through any of my things if I didn't have God. Like, you know, the mindset I have now and the love that I feel from him in general, and just where I'm at in life, like, came from him. And I was at that point too in the beginning, like, where I was just hitting a wall and I didn't know where to turn or what to look. And I just remember like thinking like, man, I've tried so much of my life without God, and it's literally led me nowhere. I keep coming back to the same circle, the same circle, the same circle. And I was like, you know what? I just need to go. And my mom kept trying to get me to go to church. And so I finally went. And I've been going to church ever since. Now it was like December something of 2023. And then I got baptized January 14th of 2024. So this year. And I've been going to church like consistently since. And walking with God since. Like, and I was, explaining that to her, and I was talking to her about it, and she was like, maybe I need to look into it, you know, because that's kind of how I feel. She's like, and I know there's a God. She's like, I just don't know how to connect with him. So I started like giving her little examples or different ways that like I just started. It's literally like a little seed that's planted. And she's like, I'm gonna think on that. And I ended up praying for her that same night. Like, I was like, can I pray for you, you know? And she was like, yeah, you can pray for me. And so I just prayed over her, her life, her kids, her family, you know what I'm saying? And then we like went our separate ways or whatever. The next day, it's this girl, this young girl that I work with. She's maybe like, she's 20. And it just so happens that we have a mutual connection because my ex's cousin was her best friend, and he passed away a few years ago. And I don't know this girl from Mechanic Paint. She's not even from Kansas City. And it's just crazy that we have that mutual connection. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was her best friend. And so I was talking to her, and me and her talk about God often. Like, she's on the borderline of figuring out like her next steps with everything. And God, like, I just walked past her trailer or whatever, and I just waved at her, and then somehow everybody just gravitates towards me. Like, it's so crazy. She just walked in, you know, to wherever my trailer was, and we just got to talking, and she was saying the same thing, like, you know, she was like talking about like how the traditional Christians that she has been around, she was like, they're all kind of like judgmental, whoop-de-whoop. And I was telling her like, yeah, I used to think that too until I actually like got into it. And it's like, yes, there are some Christians who like to bend the word to their will, but there are some like me who are just accepting of everybody, like, because that's what it tells you in the Bible. You know, you're supposed to love, care for, be patient with, and give grace to everybody like Jesus would. Like, no, we're not perfect. And this is what I was explaining to her. I was like, no, we're not perfect people. Nobody's a perfect person. You're not going to live a perfect life. But we're here to love each other, and we're here to be there for each other. And me and her were just talking back and forth. And she was saying the same thing that the other lady was saying. Like, you know, how she just feel like she's hitting a wall, and like she doesn't know where to turn to or anything like that. And I was like, well, I'll send you like some things. And all week, I've been thinking about the story of Joseph. I love the story of Joseph. That's my favorite Bible story. And I was had my little brother watching it the other day with me, because it's the cartoon version. It's on Tubi, and I love watching it. And I was telling her about that. Like, she was saying like she was always going through hardship, and she's like, and I just don't feel like, you know what I'm saying, like every time I feel like I'm doing good or I'm like focused on something, all this bad stuff happens. And I was like, girl, that's how I used to feel. Even now, with me being saved, like, spiritual warfare is still a mug, bro. Like, I face spiritual warfare every day. Like, it's hard, you know, to just give up things that you're so used to doing or patterns that you're so used to having. And I was telling her about Joseph, and I was like, you know, his brother sold him into slavery. Like, we was talking about losing friends and people betraying you and stuff like that. I was like, his brother sold him into slavery, and then he finally like got up from that while he was in slavery. Like, then some chick tried to lie on him, you know what I'm saying, because he didn't want to mess with her, and he got thrown into jail again. And then people just kept forgetting about him, but he never took his eyes off God. And I'm like, and she's like, and I was like, that's really the mindset you got to have when you do this. It's like, you really got to focus on God, because it's going to seem like everything is bad, but it turns out everything's working for your good. Like, if I didn't go through all the stuff that I went through, I would not be this person here today. I would not be sitting here talking to this phone. I would not be sitting here spreading this word about God and how good God is and how he talks to me and how he loves me. Because, baby, like, if I did not go through that stuff I went through, I would not be here. And it's like, sometimes the things that we go through, it looks like it can just be like, what is the saying I'm trying to think of? Don't believe your eyes, because God works beyond our eyes and beyond our vision. You know what I'm saying? We can't see how he works. We can only see the fruits of his work, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, your situation might look messed up, and yes, it might seem like nothing is going in your favor, but it's like, and I was telling her that, I was like, you have 100% rate of getting through your bad days. I've been telling people that recently, because I've been thinking about that quote a lot. And it's like, every bad day you face, you've gotten through. So don't look at it as like a negative. Look at it as like, what is this teaching me? That's been my thing, because I've had so many things happen this year, and like my truck broke down, and like a whole bunch of different stuff happened, and I have not let it stop me. Like, I'm like, okay, I still get to my clients, I still get to my stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I was explaining stuff to her, and I was like, you got to just look at it as, what is it teaching me? Like, what lesson am I learning from here? And take it all in your stride, because it's going to set you up for what you're going to be later. And it's like, if I didn't go through half that stuff I went through this year, a few years ago, a few months ago, I wouldn't be this strong of a person. I wouldn't have this much faith in God, because I know he walks with me. And I know that even though things might not look a certain way, that he's still right there. And so we and her were just going back and forth talking about that. And she was telling me she didn't know where to start either. So I was like, well, if you ever feel up to it, I was like, you can come to my church. I like to invite people to my church, because my church is so cool, bro. Like, my pastor, Pastor Tim, he's amazing. Our church is super duper inclusive. Like, I go to Graceway in Raytown. This is 63rd. I'm not a street names girl, so I don't know, y'all, but I'm pretty sure it's 63rd. And I was just like, you're always welcome to come. Like, I think you really like it. And so she was telling me, like, to send her some stuff. So I sent her, because we was talking about like testimonies and all that stuff, so I sent her like this YouTube page full of testimonies of people, and I sent her like a few sermons from Pastor Tim, and I sent her the Joseph movie so she could watch it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just little things that'll help step in the way. And all this is getting to a point. I'm gonna get to a point. But day 3 rolls around, and it's this dude at my job, and oh my God, he always comes and helps me in my trailers. Like, I didn't know his name up until I think like the day before me and him had this conversation. But anytime he sees me super duper busy or swamped, he always comes and helps me with my packages, always comes and, you know, just comes out of nowhere, help me get it done, and then disappear again. And so now we've been starting to have more conversations, because I'm like, okay, there's a reason why you keep coming around me, you know what I'm saying? Like, not like in a way like that, but there's a reason why we keep crossing paths. So the other day, he had I had came to work, and we was waiting on people to finish giving us our instructions for the day and talking, whoop de whoop. And I seen that he had this scripture on his neck, and it's Mark 5:5. So I was asking him, and I was like, so what does that scripture mean? Like, what is it about? And he was telling me it's about how the man who was demon possessed went to God and was like, God, can you, or went to Jesus and was like, Jesus, can you please like expel these demons out of me? Like, I don't know what's wrong. Whoop de whoop. And Jesus was like, he touched him, and he's like, you don't have just one demon, you're full of demons, you know what I'm saying? And Jesus expelled all of them out of the man's body. And so I was looking at him, and I was like, that's a real specific scripture. Like, what led you to that? And he's telling me like how when he was a kid, he had got suspended in school. And after he got suspended in school, his mom took him to church and was like, you're not a bad kid, you're possessed by demons, and you're full of demons, whoop de whoop de whoop. And I was like, and it just stuck with you, didn't it? He's like, yeah, it just stuck with me. And it hurt my heart, because I'm like, why would you tell a little boy that? Like, you know what I'm saying? And so this man, his whole life, has just been carrying around these words, these harsh words, and these demons. And it's going to make me cry thinking about it. And so after we had that conversation, we was listening to the people finish giving us our instructions. God was telling me to just go talk to him. So I was like, I'm going to go, I'm going to go do that. So I just go over to him, and I didn't know what I was about to do. Like, I go over there, and I just give him a hug, and I give him like one of the biggest hugs ever. And I'm just like, I told him, I was like, bro, you're not possessed by, I was like, you're not a man possessed by demons. You're not. I was like, you're a man who's going to overcome those demons, because you could tell he's still kind of like, I don't want to pass judgment or make it seem like I know some shit that I don't know. But you could tell like he's still kind of like in his little addiction or whatever. Like just from the signs and the people that I've been around, I can just tell. And I was hugging him and I was like, you're not a man possessed by demons. I was like, you're a man who's going to overcome his demons. And I was like, and I gave him a hug and I was like, if nobody told you today, bro, I love you. Like, and he hugged me so tight. And this grown man, he was like, thank you. And you could hear his voice like he wanted to cry, but we was at work. And that just hurt my heart because I'm like, this grown man still carries around this pain from when he was a little boy and these words that stuck with him, like to the point where he got it tattooed on his skin. And it's like, I had to tell him, no, like, bro, you're not. And he's such a sweet person, too. And it's like, you're not anything that people tell you that you are, bro. You're whoever you become. And I just keep praying over him these past few days. And every time he sees me now, I give him a hug. Because I want him to know that somebody out here, like, loves you. Somebody out here cares about you. Regardless if I only see you for these little 4 hours a night that we here. Like, at least you know. And it makes me cry because it makes me think about me when I was going through my stuff. Or when I was going through like these past few years and people would encounter me and they would just pray over me or they would give me kind words, or like even when I had my tables at work when I was a server and they would just pray for me and things like that. And they don't even know what's going on. They just ask me, could they pray for me? Like God just led them to pray for me. And I never understood how that happened until now. I bought tissues because I knew I was going to cry. And it's just like, bro, like these seeds I'm planting for these people can possibly be the seeds that lead them to their salvation. Like somebody led me to mine. People praying on me, random strangers, people I don't even know. Like their power and their faith in God is what got me to the place that I'm at now. My mom praying for me all the time got me to where I am now. And I pray over everybody that I love. I promise I do. Because life is fucking hard, bro. And we all go through so much shit. And it's just like, the one thing I can do for you if I really love you is pray for you, because prayers really work. Like, I'm a living testament of other people's prayers working for me. And I owe that thanks to God. Like, I can't thank God enough for where I'm at right now. Because I would not be here. And all throughout church, I was crying. I don't even know how I still have tears. All throughout church, I was just crying and crying because it's just one of the notes I wrote down, because I didn't even have paper today. I asked this lady for paper. And one of the notes, the Pastor Tim was saying, and it was like, I am changed by the grace of God, and I am loved by the grace of God. And I'm here because God wanted me here. God sent me to these places. God sent me back to this job, because I worked at this place when I was 19 and I quit. And I just needed something that I could that's like a flexible schedule that could work, so I could still have my business during the day and then make extra money at night. And it's like, God, you sent me here. You sent these people to me. You know what I'm saying? So I could speak kind words over them, and I could pray for them, and I could help encourage them to find a different way. You know what I'm saying? And lead them to you. And it's such an amazing feeling. Like, it's such an amazing feeling that God chose me and God used me for everything that I've been through and all the bad stuff that I've done. And it's sometimes even still embarrassing to like talk about the addiction that I went through and to talk about those things. But it's not, because I'm impacting people. Like, it's a lot of people who have a perception of me, and they like, you could never do something like that, you know what I'm saying? Or they see me and they don't picture that person that I was, and it's like, bro, yeah, like I was that, and I'm not that anymore. And I pray that for other people. Like, I pray that people who's going through hardships come out of them, and I pray people who fight addiction comes out of them. Like, by the grace of Jesus, I promise you, I pray for everybody that I love. Depression, I pray for that over you. Like, I pray that you break that spell over you. Negative things that people say to you and that stuck with you forever, I pray that you let them words go and that you flourish and that you show them something else. Because it is hard out here. It's hard enough to just be alive. It's hard enough to live day to day, every day. And nobody needs to carry that stuff around with them. And that grown man, that one really touched me. It really got my heart, because I'm like, you've been carrying this around since you were a little boy. Oh, because your mama told you you was demon possessed, and you're not. You're not.
So I stood there in church today, and I stayed up, and I did my prayers, and I thanked God for everything that I have and everything that I'm going to receive, for the person that I am and for the person that I was. Like, I love that girl that I was through my addiction, through everything. Like, I love who I am now. I love who I'm going to become. Because I have God. And I know with him by my side, I'm going to be okay. And I know that I'm not done blessing people or praying for people, and I'm just beginning, and I love that for me. Like, you never know who you can encounter and whose life that you can change just by giving them a few kind words. So I'm thankful. That's what I'm thankful for this year, for this Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for God for blessing me, and I'm thankful for the people who spoke life over me when, excuse me, all I could see was darkness and I didn't see no way out. Y'all, I'm just thankful. I'm thankful for y'all who watching this video. I'm thankful for everybody. Like, I'm just thankful. I'm thankful that you're still here. If you've been fighting depression, I'm thankful that you're still here, that you're watching this video, that you see this. I'm thankful for your life. I'm thankful that you're here on this planet, because if you still have breath in your lungs, and if God wakes you up every day, there is a reason why you're here. There is a reason why you're here, and I stand behind that wholeheartedly. There is a reason why you're here. I know it may not seem like it with you fighting whatever demons and spiritual warfare that you're going through, but there is a reason, and you just got to keep fighting through it. You just have to keep fighting through it. Like, please keep fighting through it, because I promise you it gets better. And every single hardship that you face is going to be your testimony and your story for when you're in a better position. Like Joseph, like Job, like Daniel, like the three, not the three wise men, what are they? The three whoever, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, when that dude threw them in the fire, and Jesus in the fire with them, and everybody else who was close to that fire got burnt except for those three men, because they trusted in God to save them. Like the man who was paralyzed. I put this on an Instagram comment not too long ago, but like the man who was paralyzed, and it was a bunch of people around Jesus, and he couldn't get to Jesus, and his friends literally broke through the roof and slid his bed in so he could get touched by Jesus and be able to walk again, or walk in general, because I don't think he could ever walk. I'm not too clear on that one. But the people you surround yourself with are people who can either be to your benefit or your detriment. Like, for real. His friends broke through the roof just so he could be touched. I've been saying recently, I actually been having this theory probably all year, but life is like the algorithm. Like, you know how when you think about something and you get on Instagram and it's right there, or like when you're looking at a bunch of negative stuff on Instagram, more negative stuff follows it, or Facebook, you know what I'm saying, any type of social media. Life is like that. Whenever you're down, like, misery loves company. Whenever you down, there are people who will start to come around you because they see that negative energy around you, and they see that spirit that you're protruding out or whatever, and they'll come around and they'll add more misery and more misery and more misery until you're wondering why the fuck you're so miserable. Excuse my language. And then when you get healthy, or when you start to find yourself again, life connects you with people who are finding themselves again too, or who are on the up and up. And man, that's what I've been dealing with this year. Like, I've been surrounded by so many people who have just helped me achieve my visions more and more and more. Like, it's crazy. Or people who are on the same path that I am, like, who's trying to grow and who's trying to succeed and excel. And it's such an amazing feeling. It's such an amazing feeling. And sometimes even when you're down, there's people who see your light and they'll try to keep dimming your light because they know that once you be able to shine, that you'll outshine all of them. And you got to watch out for those people in your life. I don't know who needs to hear this. You know what I'm saying? I'm surprised my phone even let me record this long video because my storage has been acting so stupid. I have not been able to record or make a video in forever. Like, I'm so serious. But I'm just glad that it worked out today. Thank you, Jesus. He knew y'all needed to hear this. So let's go into this week with a positive mind and an open heart to whatever is coming your way. Some people sent to your life are here to help you. They're not here to hurt you. Thanksgiving is this week. Make sure you take the time out to really be thankful for what you have. It's not just about food and Black Friday and football, like Pastor Tim was saying. It's not just about that. Thanksgiving is to be thankful for the things that you have and the things that you're going to have. You know what I'm saying? And for the people that are around you and your family and your friends. And if you don't have any family, you know, I hope you find somewhere safe to land for Thanksgiving. And I hope that people come into your life, even if it's just for that day, and they make your day amazing. But I thank y'all for watching this video. I hope everybody has a beautiful rest of their Sunday and a happy Thanksgiving. And I love y'all, if nobody told you today. Bye.